Oh boy. Alright guys, we got a doozy of a video today. So I am your boy Tacho, of course. Welcome back to another episode of the Tacho Show. We're going to be talking about something very scummy that IntSys has been guilty of on multiple occasions. So of course, a couple days ago, or actually a day ago, we got the Nidhdggr and Lay Radar banner. And of course, Nidhdggr on this banner has this new ace skill, Divine Toxin, which gives the status effect dosage to herself and allies in 2 spaces. Now, what is dosage? Basically, it just nullifies any bonus stealing effects that the enemies may have, and it even goes out of its way to name drop Essence Drain and Nidhdggr by extension on this effect, which is really funny because he's basically the only unit that does this, besides Tina, I guess. But, first of all, I don't even think either of those units needed to be countered. Neither Tina nor Nidhdggr needed to have this happen to them. It's just very overkill and very unnecessary. Because right now, bonus stacking can be one of the most broken things you can do in the game, and I feel like there should be counterplay to it. And just turning off the ability to do that is really wild. Like, what reason would there be to run Nidhdggr at all if he's not able to use Essence Drain? Or Tina either. Like, Tina is completely dead in the water if she's not able to steal the bonuses of the enemies. So, yeah, very unnecessary countering that they've done here. Now, if we go ahead and quickly search Nidhdggr in my comment section, we can take a look at how many people have brought this up. So we have Zachary Facet over there. We have SROM6460. They really did make a unit that hard counters Nidhdggr the day after he was rerun. Even specifically writing in the effect text, F you Nidhdggr, just to run it home. Yeah, that's what makes it even worse. Like, they just threw salt in the wound. Alright, we also have Dr. Pock. We got X-Vibra. Yeah, Nidhdggr is the antidote for the crap meta. He's good in every mode, for every player, for every playstyle. Yeah, I agree with that. It's a way to counter one of the most toxic things that you can do, which is stack a bunch of these crazy bonuses, like, for example, Divine Nectar and Future Witness and, like, all of those crazy ones, Rally Spectrum and so on and so forth. All right, Rocky Sandoval. I will not miss Nidhdggr. Okay, we have one who is in defense of this, I guess. All right, Katz Lila Salem. Nidhdggr is on a banner as well at this very moment, so screw the people that went for him now, I guess. Yeah, this is pretty much going to be the focal point of this video, is how many times they have actually done this. And this is not the first case where they've released a unit or re-released a unit, and then within the span of a week, they just completely counter or release something far better than the unit in question. We also have Marcos Molares. Yeah, their gimmick was so niche that it seems like an unnecessary overkill. Agree 100%. Aqua Lacerta. There's only 2 units with buff steal. Exactly. Nidhdggr and the healer girl no one uses. Well, some people use Tina. She's not like that much of a nobody. Nidhdggr was everywhere, though. Nidhdggr is fairly common in SD and then somewhat common in Aether Raid's defense as a way to deal with omni-tanking. And there we go. So that's pretty much everything there. Now, of course, we have the first instance with Nidhdggr being countered. He released on November 26th on the re-release. And then he's just hard countered within 3 days on November 29th. And nobody would have had the foresight to know Nidhdggr was going to have an Essence Drain canceling ability. So a lot of people probably summoned to get this Nidhdggr over here if they had missed him on his prior banners. So, just a very scummy move by IntSys. Very big middle finger to the community, who would have summoned for Nidhdggr prior, of course, because without the foresight to know he was about to get countered, I mean, this guy's pretty good. He's one of the better units in the game, so he would have been a good incentive for people to want to summon for him. All right, here's another example. I've kept a lot of receipts of the times that they've done this, so why don't we go ahead and air them out here. Okay, so here we have a Hero Fest banner released on August 2nd. Now, August is a very big month for the game because we get a lot of good events in August, like Choose Your Legends, and also there's a Hero Fest and a bunch of other good stuff. August is actually the mid-anniversary for the game. So they tend to do a lot of good stuff in August, and this would have been a great banner at the time. You got 3 units that I think are really good. Triandra, Edelgard, and Leon, who, I mean, even right now, you could still argue they're pretty good units to summon. And then we have Gulveig, who may not be the best unit to summon, but she also has really good fodder anyway. She's got Flared Sparrow and Occult Strike, which are still very meta-relevant skills that you could run. So, a very good banner, and Leon was definitely the star of this banner, because at the time, he would have been by far the best unit here. And he was very relevant in the meta. His duo skill, still probably the best duo skill in the game overall, just ending enemy actions if they line up with him. So, how could we have possibly known 5 days later on August 7th we were going to end up getting Kanto Curb on this Lucio, which completely shuts down Leon? I don't even know like what to say. I have no amounts of condolences for the people that would have summoned to get a +10 Leon over here. Only 5 days later for them to hard counter him that badly. Because his DPS was already falling off a little bit. He got countered really bad by Breath of Life 4 and also Divine Nectar, which really messes with his melt damage. So his duo button and him being like a late game sweeper to maybe take out some of the enemy's glass cannon units and possibly end some actions there, he would have still found some niche uses on certain teams. He was definitely not anywhere near like a super meta unit back at the time. So for them to go ahead and do this and then just give the middle finger to people who tried to +10 Leon or get their first copy of him, very, very scummy move, IntSys. I don't like it. Treating the players like a bunch of baboons is not cool. Like, what are we to them? We're just a source of income? Come on, man. At least treat us with some more integrity. We're keeping the game alive. We are spending money on these banners, spending orbs on these banners, and that's how you repay us? Not cool, man. Not cool at all. Okay, we got another banner over here. So this was Legendary Female Alir's introduction banner. She was color sharing with Legendary Male Robin and Legendary Ninian. Very amazing banner at the time, if I gotta be honest. Like, this green color share is pretty amazing. You got 3 different season legendary heroes here. So Legendary Alir is a fire season hero, Robin was earth season, and Ninian was water season. All 3 of them really great arena options, at least back then. And Robin was, like, probably the best support unit overall back then, too, with his grand strategy effect, just allowing you to augment unity bonuses and turn everyone into stat balls. This guy was really, really good at the time. So this banner dropped August 31st, and lo and behold, 2 weeks later, we get the release of this Plumeria over here, Arcane Plumeria, who introduces the first gold border ploy skill, which specifically turns off grand strategy and bonus doubler effects. Very, very scummy. And it's even worse, too, because it's not only a hard counter to Robin, but in its own right, it's also still a very good skill, which inflicts exposure on the enemies in 3 columns and 3 rows. And then it also does stat debuffs to 2 stats -7. So not only is it a counter pick, but then it's also just a really good DPS skill in general. So it's a skill that units are probably going to want to run, and when you have stuff like that that's pretty common, it's really going to hurt the usage of this guy over here. So I don't know how anyone would have saw that coming either. Like, just getting a counter to grand strategy was not on anybody's bingo card. So yeah, very, very scummy. Here's another instance. Now, this one is probably the worst of all, because this was a Hero Rises banner, man. You know how hard it is for us to get these banners to be good? The community has to band together and jump through so many hoops just to make the banner in the first place. So first we got to go through a vote, and we got to deal with all the crazy, rabid Edelgard stands voting in, all the nonsense Edelgard units like Fallen Edelgard all the time. And then not only that, we still have to win the voting gauntlet with the right units to get the banner exactly the way we want it. It's really hard to get a good Hero Rises banner. And at the time that we made this banner, I would have said it was really good. We ended up getting the Green Dream too. We had a bunch of great units here. Two of these units are insane for fodder. Claude and Dimitri, they both had attack and speed prime 4, which was like one of the most amazing Omni-Tank skills. You're getting distant counter or close counter, and then double stats up 9. Like, come on, it doesn't get much better than that. And then also, Peony's an attuned hero, and Alir's a legendary hero, so... Man, this banner was crazy on its inception when we made it in February. And then prior to the release, I remember saying this too. They just emasculated the banner so badly. So we get this banner prior to the Hero Rises banner with Sheeta and Arlen, who introduced close and distant bonus doubler. Basically, a far superior Omni-tanking skill to Prime 4. And not only that, but Sheeta is just straight up a better Omni-tank than whoever you were planning to give Attack and Speed Prime 4 to. So... man, this one really stung. Like I said, this felt so bad at the time. The Hero Rises banner should be a banner I feel that should be the best banner of the year. Because the community votes, we get all the units that we want on the banner. They really should not mess with this. But they go ahead and do it anyway. And at the time, like, the only really super good unit here I would have said was Peony. Just for the fact that she's an attuned hero. But Claude and Dimitri were on their way out the door. Claude, of course, more so than the rest, because there were scowl effects being introduced, and his main shtick was being able to clap people with lethality. If he's not able to do that, then he's a complete nobody. So, he was already on his way out. I think Legendary Camilla was a possible option for the banner as well. I can't remember who knocked her out, though. I think it was either Dimitri or Claude. So, yeah, a little unfortunate this banner didn't end up being as good as it could have been, but... even without any interference from us, IntSys already had their own plans. They had their agenda to just make this banner suck no matter what we did. Alright, and here is the final instance off top of my head of this happening, where on September 6th, we got the Ice Tribe banner with Fiorm. Now, of course, Fiorm is a far saver to end all far savers. Even right now, I would say she's the best far save unit in the game. And there weren't really any far attacking units that could threaten her. Even Brave Bernadetta, who gives her the biggest run for her money at the time, has to jump through a lot of hoops to beat Fiorm. And it's even harder if she ends up running Hardy Bearing. So you had to mess with your Bernadetta. You had to give her, like, Miracle instead of Curved Shot. And it was just really gross. It was not fun trying to break through this Fiorm with range. So what do they go ahead and do? A week later, we end up getting Fogato here, who is so specifically designed to be a hard counter for Fiorm. It's ridiculous. Like, the entire point of this guy is that he's supposed to be able to kill Fiorm. And what's funny, though, is that he doesn't even always do it. Like, they tried their best, but he still kind of fails. It depends on the matchup. Like, in some instances, if Fiorm outspeeds him, she can beat him. So this guy, he has to win the speed check, and then he also has to have, like, Miracle or something to be able to survive her counterattack. But, yeah, this one's more of a funny instance, because they tried to counter a unit, but they failed miserably. And people had the foresight, at least, to realize it wasn't a good idea to summon for this guy just to hard counter Fiorm. Like, that's really the only thing he's good at doing. Whereas... Fiorm, even though she's a far saver, she can still pop that duo skill in SD, which is one of the best duo skills in the game, getting 2 turns of ice. Very powerful. So, yeah, they tried this time, but they failed. And those are just a couple of instances. I'm sure there's a couple more that I actually forgot about. But I just wanted to take a quick moment to bring this to you guys' attention that not only have they done this once, but they've done it on multiple occasions. And they're probably going to do it more in the future. And what's worse is that we have no way of knowing when they're going to do it. Because if we take a look over here, of course, how would we have known they were going to hard counter Essence Drain or hard counter turn-ending actions with Kanto Curb and so on and so forth? A lot of these just came out of left field. So there's no way to prepare for it. There's no way to really know if your orbs are being invested correctly. So yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. How do you feel about being treated, or rather mistreated, by IntSys for investing orbs into units? It's got to feel really bad, especially on the ones that you would go for a +10 on. Like, Hero Fest banners are really good to +10 units. And if something like this happens, I would feel sick to my stomach, man. My condolences go out to anyone who got baited by any of these. It's just really bad. It's really scummy. And I've played many gacha games, and none of them really do anything like this. Like, most of the time when a gacha game will put out a good unit rerun, it's in a way that makes you feel good. Like, for example, in Dokkan, when they do reruns for anniversary units, during the anniversary, the banner is going to be really good. And then we know later on in the anniversary, the older units are going to get refines, aka Dokkan Awakens, or Easy A's, to make them even better and become meta-relevant. So other gachas, they really have a good way of keeping older units relevant and keeping them strong for the current meta. Whereas Faye doesn't do that at all. It's just summon for the latest shit or you're shit out of luck. And I don't appreciate that. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. This is your boy Tacho signing out. So take care, and I'll catch y'all again on the flip side.